so there was a lot of questions about wraps and things that came up yesterday, and we talked a lot about it today. Maybe you've already got your mind clear about it, but to me, like, I love my little animations, right? So we're gonna do 5 minutes, right? So in case, so just keeping in with my theme, because here's the deal. It's the thing is, to me, I want to inspire you. As a mom and pop, each of us can only do so many deals. It's not like, oh, I have a $5 million or $10 million or $100 million fund, and I'm such a big player, and I need to do all these things. For me, the time is not for. This is just me, okay? The time is for the grassroots resistance, okay? It's people that are inspired with these ideas and this vision to do what we're doing in our local markets, in their local markets. It's not for me, to be like, oh, look at what I'm doing and give me all your money. Now, Walter wants all your money. Go give it to him. No. No, I'm just saying that the point is that the time of the big central planning and all of that, to me, it's over. It's not what we need. What we need is individuals in their communities armed with these kind of tools to create solutions, just one mom and pop to another. So yeah, I mean, I have my financial partners, and I'm going to say, I don't need your money. I mean, I'm going to plan a lot of scaling, because if I can't get better at sourcing good deals in my area, I'm limited in the amount of solutions I can create. So I'm going to spend the rest of this year, after this conference, I'm not going anywhere, except for what my wife needs me to go to her art thing in Atlanta. But after that, I'm cleaning up house, and then I'm going to hit it in 2018 and go, I'm going to rock it in my market. I'm going to be one of the biggest, best retail property buyers, because what can I do? If only 50% of those, well, maybe I need to make money, right? I can flip them, I can buy them, hold them, with these things that Al's telling us. But if I can take half of these that I'm getting at 65, 70 ARV and turn them around with owner financing, I can't do it if I have to pay 90 cents. But if I can turn them around with owner financing, and then if I can infect other people with this virus, with this thought form virus, do you see how one person at a time, one deal at a time, we can change this thing? And please wake up. Okay, I'm talking to you, Drew. You know what?
Wing this pig at him.
Where's the flying pig? Okay, the thing is, sometimes, is it comfortable to look in the mirror when you get to come to Jesus? Is it fun to look at the shadow? Oh. Anyway, I'm just saying, sometimes it's not really comfortable or fun to look at what's the reality of some of the situations that aren't really bright and sparkly. But to me, everyone waking up to what's the reality of where we are, and then really visioneering where we want to go and what we can each do about it. I can't solve the whole thing, but being aware of it, consciousness itself, light itself, has its own healing built into it. So don't be afraid to look at the shadow in your own life, the shadow in our culture, the shadow in our financial system. It can make you mad as hell. It can frustrate you. It can be downright depressing. So let it go through. Negative, negative, negative. Just like when you eat a bad meal, you might have food poisoning. It will go out. I don't have any pictures for that. Did you want some visuals for that?
Bubbling in the motor.
I'm just saying, if I had thought of it, I would have, Star Wars, and I would have Darth Vader and the Death Star, and I would have the Resistance, your little orange suit, and your thing, and your little star, whatever you. We're part of the Resistance. It's grassroots. It's not going to be some big, sexy hedge fund. It's not. That's over. My mind is we need grassroots people armed with these tools, one at a time, making solutions. So they take out this person. There's still 90 other people. They can't take I don't know. That's just me. So now let's just get back to fun little animations. Okay. I was trying to think of how is it easy to understand the rap, and this is a deal I did actually 10 years ago. One of the first deals I did as a little baby note queen, which I didn't even tell you how I got that. It's not even my fault. But anyway, so I bought property with owner financing. So, remember our little sacred geometry thing? Here's where I am. I'm a property buyer. Remember, I want you to be able to step on each one of these and make money. Of course, you don't have to be a broker or whatever. All right? This is a fair market value of $135, Bakersfield, California. I went in, I said, I'm going to pay $100,000. This was someone that I'd helped the company I was working with. We flipped one of her duplexes, and she was happy with the price. She was not happy with the capital gains. So she came back to me and said, Dawn, I want to sell you another property. So I went, drove up there, 2 hours. Didn't know what to offer. Didn't have my guy friends with me. I was like, I'm going to take this one down myself. So I walked around the neighborhood. I just made up something that I hoped was right. And I said, I'll pay you $100,000. Here it is, though. Remember those nasty capital gains? I don't want you to have to do that again. She goes, yeah, I don't want to pay those capital gains either. So I said, I'm only going to give you $5,000 down. So that's a teeny weeny little down payment. And that worked for me because why? I had no money. But it's great because you're not going to pay many capital gains on that down payment this year. So the note amount was big compared to the down payment. The security interest, right? I owe her. That collateral is in bondage to that lady that sold me the property. The interest rate was 5%. Is that great for me as an owner carry? Yeah. And $360. That sounds a lot like a bank loan. And the monthly payment was $509.98. She was super happy with that because her tenant had been a pain in the ass, and all she was ever asking is $500 a month. And they paid 6 months out of 12. Okay, so is this a good for her? She just needs retirement income. No capital gains, retirement income. So, now do I want to have a rental, knowing me, well, maybe I would now, but that's 2 hours away. Do I want a rental, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing? Or do I want to maybe sell that property on a wrap, do you think? Would I rather be a lender or a landlord long distance?
Lender.
So basically now I got it under contract, started advertising it, and that put me over here, right? So I'm moving pretty effortlessly along this. 2 weeks later, I go up. I didn't want to drive up a bunch of times, so I said, I'm only going to be there between 10 and 12 on this certain day. Be there if you're interested. So I sold it for $122,000. You can see it's a little bit, it's more. I bought it for $100, so I sold it for more. That's pretty good. If I had to wholesale this deal with somebody, what's a good wholesale fee? What's the most you think I could have made?
5 probably.
5 is a pretty good number. 5 to 10. Okay? I got a $20,000 down payment from someone. That's bigger than what I paid down. Can you see how this wrap thing sort of works visually? And I felt good about it because this is a lady who was never going to get a bank loan, and she desperately wanted a rental property that I think she was going to live in it for a while because it was next to her daughter and grandkids. She was never going to get a loan. So that note amount's bigger, right? So it was not like the loan that I had to the seller went away. It's just that it was bigger what the borrower owed me. So I very quickly went down into this category, right? Now I'm a passive investor. I'm an owner will carry seller, property seller. Interest rate was 7.5. Does that sound bigger than what? So that's called spread. That's called arbitrage. I also had arbitrage on the price, arbitrage on the interest rate. What do you talk to me about the term? What did I have before? What do I owe the lady who just needs income till she dies? And then I built in what? Okay, it's amortized over 360 months, but it's due in 10 years. Because I want the option to renegotiate this. okay? But would I sell it to her on a, if I have to owe the lady 360, would I sell this on a 240? No, I want to match. I got to match the underlying financing, at least make sure I'm covered every bit of the way. So that monthly payment, $713.20. Pretty simple, right? So let's just talk about the cash in my pocket from this little deal before I knew what the hell I was doing. $15,000, right? $20,000 down for my new buyer. 2 weeks before, I'd given out $5,000, so net in my pocket is $15,000. My, go ahead.
Wasn't the answer to the last slide no, though? Isn't this where you would do like the partial and keep the payment?
Say that again louder.
Isn't this where you would split the last slide into a partial or do 2 notes on it and then you could have one be the infinite?
Why would the 2-note, great question, thank you. Why would the 2-note model that we just heard in eloquence not work for this?
Because you owe the money.
I don't have hardly any damn equity. What's the note?
102 versus
95. I have $7,000 of equity built into this deal. Well, that I have yet to realize, right? I got the 15,000, but left in the deal is only 7. I have nothing to sell. My seller really is owed most of the money here, right? But I have the spread between 700 and 500. So for the next 10 years, and this is actually how pretty close it worked out. There's some details, but let's just say 203 times 120, another 24,000. What's that? $40,000 instead of a 5 to 10 wholesaling fee, just because I'm willing to take a spin. Not really sure, just like I'm gonna just give it a spin. Right? You learn a lot more doing it than listening, even though this is awesome, right? And then we're not done. Remember that amortization difference? At the end of 10 years, I got another 11,000 coming because do you think a 5% loan amortizes more quickly than a 7.5? So, they're paying down the loan and hers is going faster. This is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
$100,000 property? I'm going to make $50,000 on a $100,000 property? And I never had to pay taxes, insurance, or do any repair? Isn't that ridiculous? Was the seller who sold me the property happy? Yeah. She had a bad problem. She needs hassle-free income for retirement. She's only getting 6 payments out of 12 from her tenant. She has all the taxes, all the insurance, all the repairs. Now she gets $500 a month, no matter what. Do you think, even if my payment stopped coming in, do you think I'm going to let her suffer?
No.
Do you think I'm going to quit paying her? What if the property even dropped from 135 to 65? Now I'm underwater. Do you think I'm going to stiff that old lady that sold me this property? Hell no. Right? It's not financially good, and it's not morally right. Because I know how to solve this problem. She trusted me, taking a little 5% down. There's no way, unless something really bad happens in my life, that I'm going to stiff her, right? So, here's how it works out. 10 years are up this year. So, and I was telling them, you guys refinancing? Are you thinking of selling? Whatever. And I've been pretty, whatever about it, right? I don't really need it, but I'm like, this is either an opportunity for them to give the property back, for me to negotiate a different interest rate, whatever, and they go, well, we really want to refinance because we think we can do better. And about 5 months later, I said, how's that refi going? Well, we're not going to be able to get it. I go, well, do you want to just change your payment amount or anything like that? No, we'd actually like to give you the property back. Wow. I go, really? And I'm like, it's in now I'm even farther from Bakersfield. Now that's a 6 or 7 hour drive instead of a 2 hour drive, right? But what is that a super bad thing for me? How much money do I have in this deal? Remember from day one, I got paid $15,000 to close. I have 0 in this deal, except I do have a promise and a karmic connection to the person who sold me the property. As long as she's alive, she has no heirs or beneficiaries that I know of. But as long as she needs the income, she's going to get it from me. right? I don't care what happens.
So I missed a step here. So you said the 10 years is up, so they should be done paying the note.
It's a
Why all
balloon
of a
payment.
sudden-
Balloon
Huh?
payments due, and they
Oh, a
can't
balloon.
refi.
Yeah, so I was building in an option for something to change.
Oh, okay.
And not that I was gonna force it, but just an option for something to change, another play on it. So if she gives it back to me, I mean, we're still working on that paperwork, then I go back again. Can you just see, but now the fair market value of the property's dropped. It's $100,000.
Why?
Market dropped.
Bakers.
Markets don't always appreciate. Doesn't actually decline.
The,
Yeah,
Don't they
seriously.
still have
They
some
don't always
equity?
know it.
huh?
They have no equity? Their loan
They
amount?
do. They have not a lot of equity at this point. I think their loan amount is like around. They started at 102. I think they might be down to 90. I can't remember. I mean, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. But they're having. This is the reason they liked owner financing in the first place. They're, the debt to income, DTI, debt to income ratios, and all these things. It's a lot of work to try to jump through those hoops. Rents coming in are 900. I'm always figuring 65% expenses, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and other things that come up. So my rent profits would be 585. I still owe 509. I could still make maybe, if I'm lucky, $75 a month. But since I'm long distance, I would give that up for property management or more. Okay, I'm just showing you like a real life deal. So basically, I went from, I put a teeny weeny bit of little cash and I got a property and I turned it into a note. And now it's turning back into a property. And then I'm going to want to turn it back into a note. I don't want to rental. You see what I'm saying? So this was an example. Does that handle the wrap thing? Do you understand, like the wrap? Is that pretty clear? Because it's a really important concept. Because even just with private money loans that I've done, where I say, look, I think this deal's a go, but I'm not going to bring you in at more than 65 cents, but we need $15,000 more. Will you take, basically, will you take 9? And I'll bring the extra 15,000 in. I'll wrap it at 9.5. It's not big, but it's even then my 15,000 is not making 9.5 because of the leverage. I think I'm up to, I don't know. I think it's 15 or 21. I can't remember.
So on a deal like this, are you opening escrow or you just kind of file under pay?
No, all escrow because I want title insurance, and I don't. Here's the thing: if I get hit by a Mack truck, now this is a real story of a deal I had to turn down 2 weeks ago, of a guy who's like, he talks this language. I want to really help homeowners, and here's a guy who had 5 kids. He's a single dad, so I gave him owner financing at a great price. But guess what? He didn't do any of the paperwork through a title company. So he goes, now I want to sell the note, and then we go, there's nothing on public record. The guy doesn't own the property. There's no recorded deed of trust. What the hell did you actually do? He goes, well, I never put them on title till they're done paying. Well, in the meantime, you're being a do-gooder, saying you're all the right things, but now there's liens attached to it. Now no title company's going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Not only can he not sell the note, but that owner that got such the great deal, they get done paying, they're not going to get clear title. Do you think that's nice to anybody? You have, if you don't protect everyone in the deal, it's going to come back to bite you. And the thing is, if one side takes too much of the pie, you are actually shooting yourself in the foot. Bye, Brenda. Bye, Sabrina. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Love you. Right? Because if I go, I can kick somebody out of their home because they haven't paid me in 5 months, am I within my rights to get them out? But if I have another homeless person in my town, what's that going to cost me socially? I don't know how to figure that out, but I bet it's big. By the time we count in, or if I get too good of a deal because some old lady doesn't know, some older person, then that means they don't have enough money to cover their care. So then the taxpayers the burden on the system comes back around. You see, it'll come back around. So if it's not fair, it's not just, oh, I'm a do-gooder and I'm altruistic. There's an actual social cost that's kind of invisible, but I guarantee you it's there.